I have not quit social media. I have not quit social media. I did not delete any and all of my social media accounts except for Facebook. I had a personal Facebook account where I had posted pictures from high school, um, and pictures from friends around my community where I had lived when I was in high school. That Facebook, that part of my personal Facebook was deleted around 2016 and 2017. I deleted it. So, as far as having a personal social media account that was tied to my legal name and my family members, because at the time, of course, my parents would friend me on Facebook, my siblings, distant relatives would friend me on Facebook, and as far as that setup, I had that Facebook account since 2016, 2017. It was deleted. But then I realized that I found Marketplace helpful and I found navigating the various communities helpful. So I allowed Facebook to permanently delete any and all photos, personal information, contacts, taggings. And then I went ahead and created a Facebook alias account in order for me to learn my neighborhood, join the groups, and just be in contact with the events and things around my neighborhood that I live, wherever I am. So I've had an alias account since 2018. I would say since 2018, I've had an alias account and I do not post anything on Facebook. So if you consider that social media, yes, I would honestly say I have a Facebook account. But if you consider social media as in, do you engage with people? Do you post things? Do you share about your life? No, I do not post things. I simply log on to the Facebook account if I want to purchase something on Marketplace or engage with the community by asking said group within that community a particular question. Then I engage with my town that way by asking question within that group. That is the purpose that Facebook serves. So I guess I would genuinely say I do not have a social media account. I have never had an Instagram account. And as I'm on here on YouTube, I do have a YouTube account because I'm posting. I'm sharing about what I do and I don't do. So, yeah, this is so much so of when people set out to, I guess, scrub their entire social media presence clean, like zero it out. Some of them have their genuine hardline reasons. And for me, I have been able to not have that hard line because I did not grow up on Snapchat. I did not grow up on Twitter. I did not grow up on Instagram. So it has never been a I cannot quit this thing because I have never been used to it. I have never been used to it at all. So that's why that is easy for me to stay off of Instagram, stay off of Facebook, and yes, YouTube now, where you're seeing my face, um, and you've possibly know some things about me that I've shared on here. I consider YouTube a social media account by the extent of engaging because I'm posting things on here. I would say I have commented on videos throughout the possibly 10 years being on YouTube. I've commented on videos 5 times throughout that 10 years time span, 5 times. So that should tell you, as far as my engagement with the platform, it is that little. And I've come on here now to make videos because Well, I see what's happening in the world, and although I had thought of myself as a quiet person, I've decided that no, I'm not going to be that quiet. I actually have certain things that I want to say about what I'm seeing happening in the world, and I want to express certain things that is happening. So that's why I'm making this particular share, content. So YouTube has not been a place that I cannot get away from, but I have noticed when I've been busy with full time work, um, I did use YouTube. I have used YouTube in the past when I was going through a state of, as people call it, depression. I have used YouTube to create that dynamic that allows for one to not bother and create real life relationship, but then allow themselves to feel as if they have a connection with the people online. And it's strange, a strange thing, because for the many years I have had, and I still have, a YouTube account, and I have watched those content creators' videos. I didn't subscribe to any and all of them. I would just come back to their channel by finding the particular name or having it suggested to me. When they post new videos, it would show up in my queue. So I would just watch the content repeatedly. But I'm one of those people that just would not subscribe. But I would come there and just watch the content all the time. So what I'm saying is, doing so, especially in periods and moments where I was sad in my real life, I was depressed in my real life, YouTube became that crutch that didn't prompt me or tell me that, hey, you need to go and talk to real people, find real people and be friends with, talk to someone, tell them your problem, instead of watching or listening to a person in, I don't know, Arizona or Hawaii or wherever they are across the world from me, across the state from me, someone far from me, someone not physically connected to me or in my environment. I just allow myself to be, I guess, falsely comforted, because it is a pseudo comfort. It is not a real comfort, because when we are in those states, I'm realizing now, very intentional, hard effort has to be made to go out, friends, make connections with real people. And yes, some of us have been at that place where I just did not go ahead and do that, because YouTube helped me numb whatever that loneliness felt like. Um, YouTube helped me numb it. Of course, Facebook, again, like I said, you know what the story I said previously. Instagram, not it for me. As far as TikTok, what? If I have not been, you know, uh, if I have not been in the web of Instagram, there is no way I'm going to gravitate towards TikTok, because you have to jump from one platform to the other one. So if I wasn't a big fan by neither, then there is no reason there is no way that I would be a fan of TikTok. So that's why YouTube was that platform that I just used in order to not do anything about my depression. I will watch videos, of course, that make you feel good. And there is something that should be said about this, okay? Technology, it is a great, beautiful thing that we have been given. This, maybe tool is not the right word, it is something more than a tool. We've been given this thing that we are using, this app called YouTube. that allows people to share details with you. And yes, someone like me, I would gravitate around content like, oh, I don't know, the stay at home moms sharing their routine, because in my previous life, that was relevant. So that gives you a good feeling about where you are in your life circumstance, and it makes you feel good about where you are in that moment of that life situation, even though by you watching that video, it is not the total package. It is not a total package because you're watching someone else's life. It is not yours. It is not tangible. You need to create, well, I'm saying that to me, not you watching this. You need to create that tangible, real life relationship with the person within your zip code, within your town that is next to you, instead of um, watching videos from people that make you feel good. And everyone has a crutch, and that was it. That definitely silenced the depression. So that's that on that. So I cannot relate to anyone that says I don't have any social media account and I don't have any social media interaction, because I'm going to go cold turkey. Now, I will say on here, I'm grateful that I was able to keep some part of me. I cannot even say, maybe it looks like I was able to keep some part of me online. I was able to keep some part of me a little bit something. I don't have the right words. So that's that. What I'm getting at is, even though I use YouTube as a crutch, I gravitated towards activities, real life activities that look like gardening. I have planted trees, and where I live, I would go ahead and just follow a particular schedule and routine as far as applying fertilizer to care for the things that I planted, to do weeding around the things that I planted, and to water the things that I planted. And I also gravitated a little bit towards crafts, arts and crafts like um, crochet, embroidery. I actually completed a entire canvas that came out just okay. It actually looks not bad. Yes, if you look closely at it, you would be able to see some imperfections, and you would definitely notice where I made mistakes. So when I felt numb from binging YouTube videos, because it is a real thing, it is a thing. When you are online for a definitely long periods and just binging videos, however quote unquote good content it is, where the person is talking about, maybe we shouldn't just use good or bad to justify things, but I will just say the idea of the content that I had binge was so much so speaking about how to develop certain qualities, or like I said, if it was about stay at home moms talking about their routine, how they care about their family, that entails everything that it comes with. Or I would sometimes listen to music videos from the ethereal musical creators, um, like the hand pan people that make music with handpan. I would listen to fantasy music, or music that has Celtic rhythm to it, or music that has drumming rhythm to it. So those are some of the feel good things that I gravitated towards. I definitely made sure I stayed away from past things that I that I did not want to reconnect with, especially things that try to stereotype me based on my ethnicity and everything that can come with. And of course, as a lady who, as you can see, I care for my hair, I also gravitated towards content from creators that educated me on hair care, skin care, nail care. So those were the diverse content that I would binge on regular basis for hours, not on my phone. All of this that I'm describing to you as far as binging YouTube, I would only do it sitting at the computer. I'm aware I can reach to, access YouTube on my cell phone, but for some reason, it is a silly thing. I just I just don't. I do not watch. I make it a habit. It is an unconscious thing. I really cannot tell you why. I don't know why I do it. I just do. I do not watch YouTube for a long period of hours on my phone. It is only on the computer. So all of what I described, binging, content on YouTube, not subscribing to any of those content creators, and then as a result feeling numb, then I gravitate towards going outside and doing things by planting or doing embroidery or knitting or crocheting. So I guess doing those arts and crafts and being outdoors somewhat helped in that state of depression, but I just want to say it would help best and better had the intention and effort and strength been put into just making real life friends with people, navigating relationships, and all the awkwardness that comes with making friends and connecting with people in your zip code. So, social media has its perks. It has taught me and continues to teach me a lot, but we do feel numb from it, and which is why you will hear people say, go outside and go be out in nature. It is a real thing. It is a real thing. And every now and then, now, another thing that I now do these days, since I am intentionally staying away from YouTube after realizing that, yeah, oh, schnaz, I am depressed, and this happened for years. So after realizing I'm depressed, I intentionally stayed away from YouTube, and also other life events, that occurred around me helped me to also stay away from YouTube. And now, instead of watching videos that does have a certain numbness that come with it, if you do it and you have done it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The other social media thing that I gravitate towards now these days would be Spotify, because we humans, we just do that thing, right? We just do. I now am active on social media, not as a producer, but as a consumer, where I just select particular contents and just pick and choose topics that I feel enrich me in ways that better my life. And what that means is, for example, I live here in Texas. So I'm now gravitating towards learning about agriculture, not in any purposeful way, but so much so it is information that I do not know. Yes, I garden, but gardening is not farming. Gardening is not farming at all. And the insight that I'm finding that farmers have, it is nowhere near something I would ever be able to learn from had I not plugged into some of the content that, provided me in that particular information, which is very helpful and has enriched my knowledge about my food, about how I ought to vote, and what I should pay attention to when politicians are referencing to specific um, bills and bills that are on dockets to be voted into legislation. These farmers, through their life experiences, some of them are crying out, some of them are sounding the alarm, and some of them are just throwing their hands up and not giving two fracks anymore. So they're just telling you everything because they're fed up. So, as a result of hearing those conversations, me as a person in society and as a voter, it is certainly informing me. So, that is just one of the category of content that I binge on Spotify. So, that's where my attention is now gravitated towards since I am not on YouTube watching videos. And I would just say, um, I mentioned those feel good things that I told you I gravitated towards. Yes. Of course, we all do things for a reason. We all have reasons for everything we do. One of the reasons that I purposefully gravitated towards those, as I said, quote unquote, feel good content was because, as you all are titling and labeling it, the doom, the doom and gloom information, whatever amount of truth that is in those content, it does not add value to my life. It literally does not. I cannot be interested or even click on something that is sprinkled with any doom and gloom. So, how do they sprinkle it with the doom and gloom? They put up the thumbnails that literally let you know what they're speaking on is what that is doomy and gloomy. Like I said, everything has some layer of truth in it, but I'm not interested to binge those things to find out what the layer of truth that is in it. I'm not interested to binge it because the amount of hours that I had spent on YouTube watching the particular things that I watched, had I invested that time and energy into those doomy and gloomy content, I don't know what would happen to me. And even as those things were, like I said, kind of feel good, I still ended up being numb. There is a energetic numbness that you definitely feel. And the energetic numbness, you can also feel it too, tangibly. You just feel numb. The device that we are all engaging with, it has energy. We humans, we are energy. So, as two energies, aka the computer and me, the person, if I sit in front of it long enough, I don't know what happens, but what I feel is what I'm describing to you, and that is numb. I feel numb, and that numb feeling doesn't feel great, which is why I would go ahead and do the things that I said I did. That was one of the reasons why I just chose, pick and choose what I watched. And also, it seemed that each year, the doomy and gloomy stuff just keeps getting more and more and more. And now, based on everything that I've told you earlier in this video, you can definitely peg me for one of those individuals then that do not watch the news or listen to the news. I literally catch my news or get my news in passing. It's, it is with an echo. Sorry, it is with an echo. It is with a whisper. That's how I watch. I don't watch the news. I just don't. I don't watch the news. And I made that decision possibly, what administration did I make that decision to stop doing that? Since the Obama administration. Okay? His first term. Yeah, that's how far back. Since the Obama first term, I decided that I was done with the news and anything that it had to offer. If I wanted to learn anything, I was going to pick up a newspaper, which I did. That is separate. That is a separate topic for a different day. Since the Obama administration, I was done. And then, of course, doing his two-term, if you were in America, you know how that went. And then Biden came. and you know how the news went, and then now here we are, you definitely know how the news is going. Of course, people tend to want to say, well, if you don't watch the news or read the news, how would you know what's going on? Oh, trust me, you will know, because for some reason, as these platforms have been created the way that they are, you will catch a glimpse of what's happening without reading the full article. You will hear the echo of the real-time issue that is happening in America without watching your mainstream news, platforms. You will just know. It is so. I'll give just a crystal clear example. Like I said, since the previous administrations, I have not been watching your typical news, whether here on YouTube or through my phone or anywhere else. I don't make that intentional effort. But where I do get it is those particular content creators that I had said I binge their content, however feel good a person is or however good that their message output is, because they are a human being in society here in America, through them telling you what's going on in their life, that person would have picked up on or read what's going on in their news. And by them making that YouTube video, they'll comment on it. They'll comment on it. And again, if I'm binging YouTube in the many hours, like I said, and I'm watching all these content creators, human beings living here in America, those people, whether they are farmers, they are hair content stylists, or they're makeup stylist, some of them, because they are so plugged in on Instagram, they are so plugged in on TikTok, they are plugged in on all the channels that they have to be plugged in on because that's what they do for their job. Those content creators inadvertently, through their venting or something that's stressing them out, they will say it in that particular video. Now, you might think that is an irresponsible way to get the news. I did not set out to get the news. I did not set out to get the news. I'm just listening to this person that I'm getting a hair tutorial video from, or hearing them review a particular hair care product. And in that discussion of the 20-minute video, they're like, okay, I've talked to you about this product, but I'm sorry, y'all. I'll just have to tell you about how these gas prices, or X, Y, and Z. I'll just have to tell you about this riot that is happening here in my neighborhood. These are real people telling you things that is affecting them in their specific neighborhoods. I may not live in California, but as I am binging the content of creators that live in California, the politics of California is going to come out through them, not through CNN, because those are the real people that are living in California. They are not politicians, they're just girls and boys, mostly girls, because I'm a girl. That's whose content I watch. Those are the real people that would just come out telling you what the issue is. When the port situation happened in 2020, individuals in California faced with that issue, everything around that particular situation. They don't have to be a politician. They're just real people experiencing the real negative side effects from these things that people and politicians call news, they call journalism. So when certain individuals try to make some of us feel like we're being irresponsible and we are not watching the news or paying attention to the news, there is no way you can live on this earth 2026, have a smartphone, and engage with life in the way that I just described and not know what the news is. You will just know. And for those of you that are chronically online, you know that's where you get your news from real people, in the way that I described, that I experienced. So I guess for me, yes, I will not delete my YouTube account. And yes, I will absolutely stay away from the dooming and glooming content, because I don't believe they add any value to my life. And no, I don't want to sit down and listen to another person who's going through a very stressful situation, and the intensity of what they are feeling. They're putting all of that energy in that particular video, and they put the thumbnail out, and the thumbnail has all the gloominess in there. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in it at all, because at the day and time that I'm making this video, I still have work to do, and that work is I still have to go into my neighborhood and continue to make friends with women, because I'm one of those girls that don't keep male friends. So I still have to make that effort to go find friends, whether through social clubs or whichever way that I can come up with creatively. I am still navigating that. So, yeah, social media for me is it can kind of stay, and I will not touch I I will not touch certain content, and that's okay. And of course, at this point in my life, I will not ever create a TikTok account or an Instagram account. I have a YouTube, there's a Spotify. Who knows 3 years from now what these technology folks are going to create for us? Uh, Now I just came into awareness about Substack. Oh, yes, and there is Reddit for you, which is another social media account. So, yeah, I guess for me, I do live under a rock, and I do face depression, and I will step away from the computer when I get energetically numb from interacting with it, and I will stay away as long as 8, 9 months to a year. I'm not even counting, because I have other things that I do to occupy my time. And that's where I'm at with that. Okay.